In this video, I want to talk about a phenomenon that you have surely experienced. If you have ever tried to explain anyone anything, you have experienced this question of how many details should I use or how comprehensive should this explanation be? And platforms like TikTok and Instagram sometimes give you the impression that almost anything and everything can be explained in a 60-second or 3-minute video. But it cannot, and I think that is a problem, because on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, we do sometimes oversimplify or undercomplicate things. And I think that has vast consequences, and that's why I think we need to talk about this. I am in Costa Rica at the moment, not only for holiday. Today is pretty cool. I'm mainly here for holiday to spend time with my family, but I'm also here to work. And I've taken a couple of projects with me that I've already pre-produced while I was in Munich, but I also have some stuff that I'm doing completely remotely. I have a project where I'm working together with LinkedIn for the German LinkedIn TikTok account. It's LinkedIn_DE. And for them, I'm producing material remotely. And yesterday, I had the challenge that I had to produce a couple of videos that were all set in an office setting. But the place where we're staying here looks nothing like an office, and I couldn't find any corner in our small apartment that looked anything like an office. So I got online and searched for places here in Samara, where we are right now, that were co-working spaces or alike. I found a nice co-working space, texted them, and about half an hour later I had the key code to this door. Then got on my bicycle, got here, produced 4 videos for TikTok, which are slightly longer than I had hoped they would be, and then I was done. First of all, this was a great experience because I think it shows that when you trust people, as I believe you should, magic things can happen. So that was pretty cool. But the other thing that I really was puzzled about, or that got me thinking, was while I produced the material for TikTok. Because, and I need to explain how the collaboration with LinkedIn works for that. Because normally for these videos, I get a script. And the script is pretty comprehensive, and most of the time I basically just need to take it, read it, and then I can produce the video. But there were 2 videos this time in particular that got me thinking. And the first topic was a video about healthy eating. And that got me wondering because, as you know, TikTok videos, or the normal TikTok videos, are either 60 seconds long if you produce them on your phone, or 3 minutes long if you upload a video. So 3 minutes was kind of my target and the maximum length of a video to talk about healthy eating. And this is what I mean when I say oversimplify or undercomplicate. Because how many things can you actually say about eating healthy within 3 minutes that are completely true and will always be correct? I normally don't work in co-working spaces because when I work, I really like to be by myself. So today is super for me, simply because there's nobody here. It's Sunday. There are a few things which you can say, but then the question is, does that actually help anyone? And you see, while I was running around this co-working space trying to find a really good explanation for healthy nutrition at the workplace, I was wondering whether or not this would actually make any sense at all. Because if I cannot put it in 3 minutes, well, why shouldn't I even bother talking about it if the 3 minutes at the end will not help anyone. Now let's look at a very simple example together. I recently wanted to make a YouTube short about flexibility and sitting on the floor because I haven't stretched or I haven't made any yoga or anything like that in the last maybe 3 or 4 years. But still, maybe you can see that, still I am very flexible, especially in the lower body. And I think that is due to sitting on the floor so much. It has many advantages for your knees, for your ankles, for your hips, for your lower back. But there's more to be understood about this. So you cannot just say, this is the truth and this is why you should do it. Because there's always something which you need to consider. And so saying sitting on the floor is healthy is a bit undercomplicating and oversimplifying. But if you look at what's done in social media, you will realize that if you say something is like this, that, and this is the order, and this is how you need to do it, this is what gets the attention. This is what gets people going, what makes them share the content, because then it's easily understood. You can explain it to others and you can sound like you've understood it. But most of the things that have to do with human beings, they are simply more complicated than that. And I think I simply fear that platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and also YouTube with YouTube Shorts will change the view of us humans on complicated things and complex matters, simply because we think that everything can be put in a 3-minute or 60-second video, but it simply cannot. While I think this is true, I also want to stress the fact that if you actually try to explain something complex and complicated in a short amount of time, you will realize that this also, of course, kickstarts your creativity. So there are many really good explanations for things that were thought to be a lot more complex, but then they could be explained in a short amount of time. So I think in terms of making people more creative when explaining something, I think those videos and those platforms are in fact not too bad. All right, I think I'm good to go. And there is another development that I observe, and maybe you have seen, that supports this idea that things can be somehow summarized and are sometimes easier than they seem. And that is something that I have observed when I look at the kind of books that are available, especially non-fiction books. In the past, the kind of books that humanity had and wrote were mainly stories. Ooh, there's a really large iguana up on the rooftop. Let me try to show that to you. Don't know if my zoom is enough, but it is right here. Of course, with the existence of science, also science and non-fiction books got written and published. And in the last couple of years, books are very often used as a marketing tool. So just having a book available as somebody who offers something will make you seem more credible. It's a bit like having a podcast or having a homepage or a YouTube channel for that matter. And so many books have been written and published in the last years that can easily be summarized on a few pieces of paper. Easily. This is why also something like Blinkist works, because for many non-fiction books, this is in fact very easy to do. And this, I think, supports this idea that in fact many things in this world are less complex than they seem at first. But I think that's simply due to the fact that the people who wrote these books, they tried to make the book itself bigger, because then it looks like it's more credible, and if it's supported by even one other anecdote or something that they've put into it. And so I think this is another factor that kind of underlines this. There's everything you need. Right?
right?
I want to encourage you to go for the more complex explanation, even if it takes longer, even if it means that people will have to listen to you for more than 60 seconds or 3 minutes. But I believe that it's absolutely necessary if we want to explain to each other what's actually going on in the world, if we want to encourage each other to look beyond the headlines, to look beyond the short title or the short videos that only last for 20 seconds. What I'm saying is to not blow up things that are in fact not as complicated as they seem, but in fact, if things are complex, take the time to first understand them yourself, and then if you create something about it, also take the time and effort it needs to explain it and to make other people understand. And I think that's very important. I just realized I sat on this dead bug the whole time. You see, in the last video I said that I believe that everything that can be said has been said. And a couple of people responded to that, trying to encourage me that it still makes sense to repeat some things over and over again. And I think where I agree is that especially the things that cannot be put in a simple order of these are the 3 things you need to take care of, or this is the stuff that you need to be aware of, especially the things that take more time to understand and are really important, those things, they can be repeated over and over again, I think. And this is what I'll try to do. Let's see what you do with it.